everybody. Welcome to the Mustang Coaches Show. I'm your host and voice of the Broncos, Kerry Shuck, alongside the Executive Director of Human Resources, Chris Tobler, and the head football coach of your Mustang Broncos, Lee Blankenship. Guys, how are you doing?
Wonderful.
Excited to be here. Yeah.
Oh, it's great. The first week is always so exciting because a lot of reasons. One, football season's back, so we're all excited about that, and we're going against a rival.
Yeah.
So that's one thing I wanted to ask you straight off the bat. How do you prepare for something like that, coming into your first season here at Mustang, knowing that your first week is your first game and you're going up against the crosstown rival?
Sure. I mean, first of all, I think I've been screaming to our kids, the British are coming all fall camp. It's really more for us about us than it is about a rival. We're just trying to get better every single day and focus on how we can be successful in each and every practice and then scrimmage. So just having a sense of urgency, trying to get our guys ready and mentally prepared and ready to go.
Yeah. And Chris, being here at the school and everything, the excitement that comes around, especially, I mean, you're such an advocate for Coach Blankenship, and we're all so excited to have him here. Talk about your process of getting ready and everything.
Well, around the end of December, there was a change in our head football coaching position, and Lee and Robert Foreman, our athletic director, became acquaintances before that, and through the interview process and the search process, we always kept coming back to Lee Blankenship, and we were very fortunate to steal him away from Bartlesville. And he was able to come on board in January and really start the culture shift and the change that you're seeing. I've never seen our community so excited. I've never seen our players so motivated and focused. And it's really just a testament to his ability to bring people together and build something special. And I think we're doing that now.
Oh, 100%. I got to hear you speak on Father's Day, and everybody was so excited already. And then after that, I had so many people come up like, oh, I'm ready to get the season going. Just listen to you talk. Talk about that process of knowing the community is coming around to the new football coach and the new season.
Listen, this community is phenomenal, and I am a small part. There's a lot of moving parts that in running a football program and the excitement. I'm just honored to be a small part of that. I love that our kids, our fans, our parents have been so supportive. Our community members have just been so supportive of our football program, and I'm just thankful to be a part of it. People give me too much credit. If somebody needs me to go and speak somewhere, I'm happy to do that. If somebody needs me to go and pass out groceries, I'm happy to do that as well. Whatever I can do to contribute to keeping this town just a great and amazing place to live and work. I'm just honored to be a small part of it.
So, Coach, can you give our viewers just kind of a rundown of your history in this profession as being a head football coach and kind of what roads led you to Mustang?
Of course, I've always considered it kind of a non-traditional path to being able to coach at a school this size. And first of all, Mustang is my dream job. I grew up just dreaming of having an opportunity to coach at a school like this at some point in my career. And there's kind of a running joke in our family: you're either a preacher or a football coach. My dad is a Baptist preacher, and growing up, I used to say, "Lord, please don't make me do that. I want to be a football coach." So, anyways, I started off as a head coach. I think I was one of the youngest head football coaches in the state. It was Class A, Gore High School. At Gore, it's a little community. I think they have about 900 people in their town, and we graduated there that year right around 50 students. So smallest 11-man football classification in the state. I was at Gore for a couple of years, and I just kind of grew up thinking that was the way to do it. I want to be a head coach at a young age and work at a small school, and then hopefully through being able to win and continue to grow in the game and learn the game of football, to be able to have an opportunity to coach at the larger level. So after a stint at Gore High School, I applied for the head football position at Beggs High School. The main reason I think I applied at Beggs was they had a turf football field. At Gore, I watered and mowed and seeded the grass and fertilized. And when I saw the position come open at Beggs, and I knew they had a great football tradition there. I thought, man, they have a turf field. That means I don't have to mow that football field anymore. So I applied, and every job I've ever gotten, Chris was too kind in the intro there, talking about them coming back to me. Every job I've ever gotten, I feel like all the other great candidates have probably just dropped out, and the school was stuck with me. But I was fortunate enough to get the job there at Beggs, and had a great tenure and great experience there. Really loved that community, and it really almost felt like a smaller version of where we're at now here in Mustang. Just the type of people and the way the community really opened up their hearts and minds and bought into what we were trying to do and accomplish. But after 2017, we had the opportunity to play in the state championship game in 3A there with Beggs, and got a phone call from the athletic director at Bartlesville High School the next morning after the game, and asked me if I'd be interested in interviewing there. And again, that was just an opportunity. Like I said, I'd always dreamed of being a 6A head football coach, and Bartlesville is 6A Division II. So after being at Bartlesville for a year, honestly, my wife and I owned our house for about 8 months there and thought we would be there for a long time. And it kind of out of the blue, got a phone call from our athletic director, Robert Foreman, and then the rest is history. Here we are. So it's been quite a journey, and man, I'm so fired up to have an opportunity to be here, and a lot of work to do, but I'm raring and ready to go.
Well, what we want people to also know is you were pretty recognized as a player. You played at the University of Oklahoma. You finished your career at East Central University in Ada. And we actually have some clips
Nice.
of you in high school at Spiro High School. So if we can go ahead and run that clip, and we want you to narrate.
Oh my goodness. First of all, nobody recognizes me as a player, not even when I was a walk-on at the University of Oklahoma. But we'll take a look at that, and I'm sure it'll be embarrassing. But I'm thankful that you don't have to necessarily be a great football player in order to be a good football coach. So I'll leave it at that, and we'll go from there.
All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the highlights right now.
It's a great-looking guy. Looked good in the uniform.
Yep, got a young man there. Had a great receiver, Omar Abdullah.
Oh,
Good player. Will play action versus Vian. Oh, got him on the crossing route. I'll tell you what, the guy that we're watching in film could not start for the Mustang Broncos. He couldn't have started for them then, and he
Carrie's
certainly
alma mater.
wouldn't.
Yeah,
Photo.
let's get that Poto play in there. Of course, it's exactly how it probably should be. Those are some great throws, especially. That pass to the back of the end zone. I didn't like who it was against, but definitely.
I appreciated Chris putting that on there. Our Poto was our big rival back in high school, so
Yeah,
I know that's your hometown as well. So
this is the Southeast Oklahoma edition of the
It is,
Mustang
right?
Coaches Show, basically. Yeah. So Chris was instrument in getting me as the voice of the Broncos. So it's good that it's all come full circle. But now it's 2 Spiral Bulldogs versus 1 Poto Pirate. So real quick, let's recap Bronco Summer Pride, because this is something that is just huge.
Yeah.
And it helps so many around with the football team, the coaches, and everything. Talk a little bit about it and how it comes about.
Well, coming into this year, that was something that was really just important for our football staff to want to really, our first step in making sure all of our sports and our entire community, from our youth level all the way up to our varsity players, understood what our vision is and what we want to accomplish, and just to start to lay a foundation for our long-term goals here at Mustang. So we opened up from basically any young person, male or female, from first grade all the way up to high school. We had a session for them to come to. Had a huge response. A ton of kids came this year, and was really proud of our coaches. Worked really hard, put some long hours in, some early mornings, a lot of them, and really was fun to see just improvements in our kids, especially our young kids, as the course of the summer went. So that was huge for us. Expected to be even bigger next year and moving forward.
Yeah, it'll just grow. One thing that I think coaches don't get enough credit for is most people come in on Friday night, sit in the stands, and they watch a game for 2.5, 3 hours. They don't understand everything that goes into it from spring to summer through that week. getting
Sure.
into that. Talk a little bit about you and your coaches and everything that you have to do to get prepared for just a season.
Oh man, well, for one thing, I'm so thankful that I got to start in January, just to get organized and have a plan for going into that summer. One of the things that we tell our kids all of the time, and it's kind of a rally cry for our football team. It's a hashtag if you're on social media, but we say it's called Win Today. So we preach to our kids, and our coaches believe in that obviously as well, that we can't wait until Friday night in the fall to decide we want to beat Yukon, for example, or beat our next opponent. We've got to beat them every day leading up to that, and that starts well before the spring in our winter lifting and off-season conditioning programs, into spring practice throughout the summer. So we have a detailed plan, and just to try to have a structure in our program that prepares our kids to be successful on the Friday nights in the fall. So every day matters. There's a ton of work that goes into it, but it's also, I can't complain about that. This is the greatest profession in the world, getting to coach high school football. So love that process.
Coach, you put together a tremendous staff, and in the coming weeks, I'm sure Carrie will introduce different members of your coaching staff, but just your overall offensive and defensive philosophy. Can you tell our viewers kind of what you plan on doing strategy-wise on both sides of the football?
Yeah, absolutely. So offensively, we want to play fast, and we spell fast a little bit different than our English teachers would here at the school. We spell it PHAST, which stands for physical and fast. So we want to play fast in everything that we do on the offensive side of the ball. So you can expect to see a fast pace and physical attack on the offensive side, and I love it. There's a lot of mantras and different sayings and things that people are known by, and Coach Dollar came in the first day and he said, if I say hit, you say hard. And he said hit, and our kids said hard, and we've been saying that ever since. That's what you can expect to see on the defensive side of the ball. A bunch of hard-nosed kids that are going to hit hard and play hard. So I'm excited about that. We're going to be multiple on both sides of the ball. We want to have, I call it having arrows in your quiver. We want to have arrows in the quiver and have a plan and a backup plan and a backup plan to the backup plan for every opponent that we'll see. So yeah, it should be an exciting brand of football.
Well, we'll go ahead and take our first break, and we're going to come back and we're going to talk about expectations for the seasons and some of the players that you're already seeing here in preseason as we get close to the first game of the season. We'll go ahead and take our first break, and then we're going to have This Week in Sports. One of the great things here at the Mustang at school, just the young people that do this set up This Week in Sports, and we can't wait to see that. We'll see you guys after the break.
Hey Oklahoma, it's barbecue time, and Swadley's is now serving world-famous steaks. Come on by and see us today, or order online at swadleys.com. We're Swadley's world-famous barbecue, where faith and families come together.
Hey Mustang, I'm Jamie.
And I'm Ashlyn. Welcome to This Week in Sports. Varsity volleyball had their second tournament of the season. They won the tournament championship in Muskogee last week. Maddie Booth and Annabeth Farrell were named all-tournament players, and Maddie Hayek was named the tournament MVP. Congrats, girls!
Cross country beat Yukon in the Mustang-Yukon duel. The boys won by 140 points and the girls won by 130. Great job to all the runners.
Their next big meet will be September 14th against OK Runner. Moving on. Varsity fast pitch softball is undefeated. They are 6-0 on the season so far, leaving them 2-0 in their division. The Lady Broncos will compete their next tournament in Choctaw on September 6th and 7th.
Marching band had their first performance of the year last Saturday. Band members say that the parent preview went well. The band will now be debuting their new show at the Mustang-Yukon football game.
Come out and support the football team at the Bronco Stadium on Friday. Bronco Alley opens at 5 p.m. and kickoff is at 7. Once again, I'm Ashlyn.
And I'm Jamie.
And we'll see you next time on This Week in Sports.
Welcome back to the Mustang Coaches Show. Kerry Shuck here with Executive Director of Human Resources, Chris Tobler, and head football coach Lee Blankenship. I want to thank everybody for This Week in Sports, and as we get into the season of sports, let's talk about some of the expectations for this season, some of the things that you're looking forward to with the coaches, with the players, and everything.
Yeah, expectations are this season to teach our players the real meaning of success. That is my number one goal as we come into this year, and by that I mean sure we want to win every game. Of course, we want to teach our kids even more than that. You can win a game and not be successful, and so what we define as success is just being your very best all the time in everything that you do. We want to be our very best at. So when we're running our sprints at the end of practice, it's not okay just to be first. If you run a 4.4, then you need to run that 4.440 the entire time. If you run a 5 flat and that's your very best, then run that 5 flat every time. And but that's what success is to us. The other thing is just to see growth in our players' character, in our leadership. I believe that when we get kids that and can get a group of young men that love one another as much as they love themselves, that understand what it really means to be successful, that are going to class and taking the football field and approaching practice with a ton of character and leadership principles, then everything else is gonna take care of itself. We're gonna be successful. So that's something that's important to me. Obviously, we want to win every game, and that's always a goal. But if we can see that growth in our character and our leadership, those wins are going to take care of themselves, and we're going to set a foundation to build a football program on that's going to span for generations. And I'm really excited about that possibility.
Mm-hmm, definitely. Well, I can say, for one thing, listening to you speak on Father's Day, one of the things that always stands out for me whenever you talk is football is a great medium for kids and for you to see character and build. But then your whole main goal at the end is you want them to be great in school, great fathers, and great husbands. And that's just one thing that resonates to me.
No question. It's kind of cliche, but that's one of the kind of sayings that I've used with our coaching staff and just people in our community. I want them to understand football's just a game, and we're not going to use kids to win a game. We're going to use a game to try to win in the hearts and the minds of our kids, and that's what we're going to use it, the game of football for, and that's what makes it one of the greatest games in the world.
Definitely. Well, some athletes that are coming up. Last year, I think it was kind of a transition offensively. You had some younger players coming up the offensive. So the defensive players were kind of the stars last year. We had really good defensive players. Are you seeing that this year, that offense is starting to really take shape and that you still have that good defensive core?
Of course. We're seeing, from spring football throughout the summer, even in the first week of fall camp, we've seen tremendous growth in our players on both sides of the football. I mean, we've got some players that have a lot of experience. We've got some new faces that we'll see on the field most likely this year that didn't play as much last year. And again, just getting our kids to work hard and be a little bit better tomorrow than we were today. That's our ultimate goal. And I think you're going to see some really improved performances and players on both sides of the ball this year.
And did you have something to say?
No, go ahead.
Whenever you are getting ready in the preseason, springtime, everything, what kind of things do you go through exercise-wise, getting in the weight rooms? What kind of things do you want to utilize as you get close to the school year?
Yeah, so the first thing that one of the first lessons I talked about with our players was one of our core values, which is discipline in the details. So I showed our players a picture of a Mustang Bronco, or a drawing of a horse rather, and I told them it was a Mustang Bronco. But in the first picture, that it was kind of it was a sketch, a rough sketch done by pencil.
Probably looked like I would have drawn it. So
yes, probably about like that. So it was just a rough sketch done with a pencil. And I asked the guys, what do you think about this? would you call it good? Sure, Coach, it's good. Yes, it's good. Okay, great. So let me show you the next slide. And I flipped to the next slide, and it was the finished product of that horse. So the eyes were colored in, and you could see the blue in the eyes. Its mane, you could see the wisp in the mane. You could see the veins in the horse's nostrils flared. And I asked the kids, what about this picture, guys? What do you think about this? And Coach, that one's great. So it was just kind of an opportunity to use that example to tell them what's the difference in the two. The first one was good, but how do we go from good to great? And one of the kids raised his hand and he nailed it. He said, Coach, it's in the second one, you can see the little details. The details are filled in. And again, that was my message to our kids. It's about the little details. I believe that if you're faithful with a little, then you can be faithful with much. And if you can be trusted with a little, then you'll be trusted with much. So just getting our kids to understand that we want to be attentive in everything we do, from the way our locker room looks when we leave to what chair we sit in, and in our English class in first period. All of those things build up, and those little details can make a great person. It can make a great football program. So being attentive to details is definitely something that was a big message for us coming in, and I think that everything kind of flows from there. It goes to our stance. Can we have a perfect stance? It goes to our power clean technique. Can we have a perfect power clean technique where we're being attentive to every little detail about it? So anyways, yeah, I'm rambling, but that's that was kind of the basis of where we started.
So Friday, September 6th, the Yukon Millers will travel here, 7 p.m. kickoff. There'll be thousands of people in Bronco Alley before the game, and then 8,000 people or more at the game. We'll have them packed in. What have you seen of Yukon?
Well, I've heard a lot about Yukon. Let me tell you that. I have.
It is an important game.
It's quite an important game. People have definitely let me know that, and I'm really excited to have an opportunity to just be a part of that. What do I know about Yukon? Not very much that I want to share on YouTube. I'll tell you that, but I do know that they have a really powerful offense. They run a version of the flex bone, which is tough to defend if you're not really disciplined and really
Ask
sound.
Oklahoma against Army.
No question about it. Yeah, no question about it. I know that they are really well coached. Coach Reed does a phenomenal job, and has built a culture there that I know the city of Yukon is really proud of. I know that they just got a new defensive coordinator who does a phenomenal job. He's actually coming from Jinx High School and was just hired. Danny Nichols is his name, a good friend of mine, and a guy that is excellent at what he does. So they'll be really well coached and prepared and ready for us, and hopefully we can be the same on our side. You should expect a good football game. Always rivalry games are great games, and again, I'm looking forward to being a part of that.
There's so much fun, and I remember the first year that I did this, my third year, calling halftime, score at halftime, and looking and still seeing cars pulling in, trying to get in just to see the game, and I thought to myself, like, this is crazy. Yeah. I can't believe it just won't stop,
Wow.
And they at least got into the second half. So, well, I do want to talk about one thing. You're going to have your radio show coming up with Ryan Booth, not this Wednesday, next Wednesday.
Yeah, that's right.
Talk a little bit about that. That's pretty exciting. Mazio's?
Very exciting. It'll be at Mazio's Pizza. We're inviting all of our players, our parents, our community. You guys come on out and join us at Mazio's Pizza on Wednesday nights. And I believe that I don't know the time. I'll have to. You sprung that one on me. 6 o'clock, 6:30,
hey,
somewhere in there.
It's Mazio's. Just get out to Mazio's.
There you go. Come out to Mazio's. We'll be there.
There.
Hank FM is going to broadcast our games, and we'll have that little coaches show every Wednesday night. So I'm excited about that. Yeah, it'd be a cool little tradition for our players to start and kind of eat together and be able to talk about, highlight some players, highlight some plays from the week before, and then talk about our upcoming opponents. So it should be awesome.
It's such an exciting thing too, because you'll actually get to. You might even get some questions from the audience of people that are wanting to know certain things, which is good to have.
No doubt. That's open for sure, and we'll always spotlight a player, one of our outstanding players from the last week. So should be a lot of fun, and I think a neat deal for our community for sure.
And Chris brought up Bronco Alley. Every single week that we have it, it gets bigger and bigger. And I never get to. I've got to go one time with my son, and then got to go up to the booth. But it's a pretty big thing to have Bronco Alley.
No doubt. What a big time. I mean, everything that our athletics department does is just first class, and that's something that I've noticed since I've been here. I mean, look at the show. It's incredible, and the little details. I can respect that have gone into making this show. But yeah, the Bronco Alley is. I mean, you talk about a college-like pregame experience. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that, and yeah, I'm fired up about it for sure.
In terms of our athletic department, Robert Foreman, athletic director, Andrea Guzik and Scott Selby, who are the assistant athletic directors. I mean, there's no question they care about kids, and
No
everything
question.
they do is to provide a first-class experience for our student athletes in our community, and it's really exciting.
Without question, and then just the support that they give to our coaching staff. I mean, it's an easy comment for me to make when I say they're the best I've ever worked for, and I'm so thankful for everything that they've done, even in my short time here, to help make our program better. And I'm really thankful for them. And without question, they love kids and want to see that our visions are aligned in what we want to see when young people not only play on Friday nights or in the games in our programs, but when they leave here, go out into our community and become productive citizens in our.
And I'm excited for you to experience Kerry Shook.
Same here,
as
man.
voice of the Broncos. He is tremendous. He gets the whole crowd motivated. It's just a wonderful package.
I'm looking forward to
From
it.
the band, the players, the atmosphere.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
Greatest show in town on Friday night.
That's right. Well, the best thing, the coaches and the players, they do their job, and then they make me sound good. So we'll just say that. But I also wanted to, I think Coach will be with me in saying this. We wanted to thank you too. You have been a big part of getting me here as well, just as the voice of the Broncos and on the coaches show. I have to extend a thank you to you, Chris, and I know Coach wanted to say something too.
Oh,
so.
without,
This was fun.
without
Thanks
question.
for letting me be a part of it.
No.
Oh, it was important to me that Chris was able to be a part of this today, and it's really been really special for both of us. He was so instrumental in just helping me be here today and encouraging me throughout the process, encouraging me to apply for the position, and our families go way back. Our grandfathers. I have a really special picture of Chris and my grandfather playing high school football on the same team, and it's pretty special for us to be able to work together all these years later, and
Coach.
yeah, we're fired up, man. This guy means a lot to me. I'm thankful for it.
Well, thank you so much. And we are fired up in the community. We're ready for football to start. We're ready to get on the field against Yukon and coach to see what's going on. So
Should be a special year. Looking forward to it.
all right. Well, thanks.
Thanks, guys.
Joining me with Chris Tobler and head coach Lee Blankenship. We want to thank you guys for the first episode of the Mustang Coaches Show. We want to thank all of the staff around here, the kids that set this up. Mrs. Wolf, this is just amazing.
Awesome job, guys.
Top tier. So we'll see you guys here in the coming weeks after the Yukon game and get ready for football season.
Go Broncos.